So this is my first real-world test of the Insta360 X3, and the first thing I'm testing is me mode, because that's one of the different things about this camera. It has a special me mode, and I don't really understand how it works. I get the basic idea, but at the same time, I don't really get it, or how it works, or what it's for. But it's essentially shooting 360 video, but it's tracking me as the main subject, and will be producing flat 2D video at the end rather than 360 video. So yeah, I get the idea, and I get the idea that this means you don't have to reframe the video afterwards. But if that's all you're after, shooting video exactly like this, with me just walking along and holding the camera in front of me, without reframing afterwards, then why not just shoot in single lens mode? I'm working with so many different pieces of technology these days. I don't seem to understand anything anymore, the most basic things. And right now I can't understand what the difference is between me mode and single lens mode. Maybe I can move the camera around without having to think about it, and it's still tracking me, like I just moved it off to the side. And does that mean it's still tracking me even though the camera's over there now? And now I move it to the front, and then if I move it off to the other side, I mean, is it still tracking me? I'm not sure how it could, so I don't really understand it. And bring it back to in front of me and keep walking along. And in one of the instructions they said that you're supposed to hold it in front of you flat, like I'm doing right now. But yeah, all over again, I have to say that I like this style of filming much better than any other style. Like, I don't have to think about the camera at all. Whereas if I'm holding the GoPro, I mean, I'm holding the camera right in front of my face the whole time, and it's between me and the world. In this way, there's nothing between me and the world. I also don't understand how far away from myself I should hold the camera in me mode. Let's extend the pole to its furthest length and see what changes. So that's the full length of the pole, 4 feet or over 1 meter, something like that. And I'm just holding it in the same place. And if I move it off to the left, you know, does it keep tracking me? And it's still filming me? But what if it loses me as the subject? Does it pick me up again when I move it back to the center? I'm not really sure. Now let's move it much closer. This is very close. I've barely extended the pole at all. Certainly a lot easier to hold, but I can't see how this could be a very attractive image, or what it does in terms of tracking me with me mode. But that's what this experiment is for, to play around with me mode and see how it works. As I explained at the beginning of the video, that first clip I shot using the me mode with the Insta360 camera. And in that mode, you don't actually do any reframing of the video. The reframing is taken care of by the camera and the software automatically. But this video clip I shot in full 360 mode, so the video that I ended up with was in true 360. And then I imported it into the Insta360 app And then I watched the video myself, and while I was watching it, I did the reframing. So at every moment in this video, wherever the camera is pointing, that's where I decided to point the camera while I was reframing it. And I'm not saying I did a good job or anything like that, because I mean, the process is pretty simple. What I do is watch the whole video from beginning to end in true 360, just to get a sense of what's happening all around me, because even as I was walking along the street, I didn't see everything. I mean, I couldn't see everything that was behind me or everything that was to the left of me or to the right of me. I pretty much only saw what was directly ahead of me. But the camera, of course, is recording everything. So what I do is watch the 360 video and just get a sense of what my surroundings are like, whether anything interesting happening. For example, there's a little coin laundromat that I keep noticing as I walk by. And for whatever reason, I just aimed the camera in that direction while I was reframing it. And here I remembered that just ahead of me here, I crossed the street. So I made sure to turn the camera around to the right and look back up the street. And then you can see whether any cars are coming, and then the field of view moves onto me as I cross the street here. Yeah, here I go, crossing the street now. And I just sort of remembered that I did that, so I anticipated that and framed the video this way. And I didn't narrate anything during this video, which is why I decided to add this bit of narration at the end, just to make it a tiny bit more interesting. I noticed that guy, he sort of pulled his girlfriend out of the way like that, and I wondered whether it was because of me walking up behind him and I made him nervous or something. I wasn't sure why he did that. And as I was walking in this direction, I remembered, oh, first of all, there's these women on the left. I see dozens of these women every day. They're tourists of some kind. I don't know what country they're from. They could even be from Malaysia for all I know. But they all buy the same flowers, like this woman here, and they all pose with those flowers for pictures. I see that every single day. A dozen groups like that every day as I walk around, and they all buy the same flowers, and they seem to buy them all from the same shop. I see them crowding into this one shop. They all buy the exact same flowers, and they all pose like that. And I remember seeing this guy. He's got 3 different cameras there that he's working with. Wasn't quite sure what he was up to. And around the corner here is a group of homeless men that are always in the same place. So I knew that as I walked by them with the 360 camera, I was going to aim. Like, I'm not pointing the camera at them. I'm just holding the camera up in the air, not pointing it. But then as I reframe it, I can aim the camera in this direction. And then you can see there's one of the guys. And these guys are always here. This guy as well is always there in exactly the same place. They sleep there at night, and I see them there during the day pretty much all the time. And I'm on my way to Vinijaya for lunch, by the way. So this is a walk I do maybe 3 times a week. I walk from the Kojoy Hotel to Vinijaya. That doorway right there, that's my old guest house, the Moro House, I guess they call it now. And that's the Pasarseni MRT, LRT station up there. And Vinijaya is just ahead of me on the left. And right before Vinijaya, there's this giant hotel. I think it's called the Lavalier Hotel. And there is a Ramly Burger outlet. And lately I've been getting Ramly Burgers from here quite often. This guy does a really good job. He makes some very nice burgers at this place. So we're going to walk around and see the Ramly outlet from the front. And this is where this particular video clip ends, right at Vinijaya and the Ramly Burger outlet. Now this video is starting right after lunch. I finished my lunch at Vinijaya, and I'm walking back to the Kojoy Hotel, and I decided to just keep the 360 camera running. One interesting thing you can do with the camera is hold it out to the side like this, and then you get basically this viewpoint of yourself with whatever is, to your side in the video. I brought the camera back in front of me because there were cars coming down the road, And if I was holding the camera out in the street, you know, cars would hit it or something. And there it is, Merdeka building, always dominating this part of the city. And as I walk along this street, yeah, again, I do the same thing. Hold the camera off to the side, and then you get a view of me, and then the buildings right there. I think just ahead of me, I noticed there was a police car, so I just held the camera out there, and then as the camera went over the police car, I could just reframe it, you know, just to look down at the car, in case that was visually interesting or anything like that. So yeah, that's an advantage to the 360 video, of course. You can look behind me and in front of me and to the side. So here again, I'm just holding the camera to the side, and you can see the famous temple there, very famous tourist attraction in Kuala Lumpur. Looks like they're doing some maintenance work, which is very common. The whole tower there is covered in scaffolding. If I had to pick a theme for this walk today, there would be two themes, I guess. One would be the homeless, because there are quite a few homeless in this neighborhood. And when I get closer to the Kojoy Hotel, I go for a walk down one street there where a lot of homeless people live. It's on the same street as the Kojoy Hotel. And the other theme is graffiti. There seems to be more and more and more graffiti all over Kuala Lumpur, or at least all over Chinatown. And it really puts this part of the city in a bad light. You can see some on the pillar there. There's just graffiti everywhere. That electrical box is covered in graffiti. Walls are covered in it. And I often wonder about graffiti because you see it, you know, there's more, you know, beside this, you know, very beautiful temple, and it's just got graffiti around it. But you see it everywhere you go. So every piece of graffiti, somebody was there with a spray can of paint doing it. And then I always wonder, like, when is this happening? You know, look at all those electrical boxes covered in tags, that entire wall covered in ugly graffiti. I just hate it. I really can't stand graffiti of any kind like that. I don't understand the type of person that would do that. Certainly makes the city look like an ugly place. But I guess they're out there all night long, you know, late at night, early in the morning, all by themselves, wandering around the streets with cans of spray paint, and this is what they do for fun. Just wander around and spray their initials, tag all the bits of walls. But yeah, I just notice it more and more, how much graffiti there is all over this part of KL. And when you're reframing, I have found you have to be careful not to zoom in too much, because you want to, because there's so many interesting things, and you have a tendency, you want to zoom in on it, on any interesting things around you. But if you zoom in very far, of course, the resolution of the video goes way, way down, and then it looks terrible. So you have to sort of, yeah, there's more graffiti. A little barbershop there. Getting closer to my Kojoy home. Look at that, all that graffiti on that steel wall there, that steel door. And up ahead is the road where the Kojoy Hotel is located. And all along that road, as I said, you do see a lot of homeless people. They get a lot of meals here, like charities come to this park in particular with cars and trucks filled with packed lunches. And they come quite frequently during the week and distribute lunches to all the homeless that live in this area. And this is, again, sort of an advantage of the 360 camera, that, say, if you did want video of the homeless, you probably wouldn't want to just point cameras directly at people. It's sort of obtrusive. But with the 360 camera, you don't have to do that. So I'm just walking along the street here, And then as I reframe the video, then I'm sort of aiming the video at this homeless community that lives here, but I'm not actually, pointing the camera at them. All I'm really doing is just holding this stick out in front of me, and then afterward I can make all these choices about, where the camera is pointing. This is an interesting group of the homeless. They are homeless. They sleep out on the streets at night, this large group of people that you see ahead of me, but then they often gather right here, and it's just sort of a place where they hang out and chat all day. You can see they've got all their piles of stuff with them. I guess some of them sleep there at night on that platform. And that is the Central Market, big tourist attraction in KL. Crossing the road here, there were a couple of other homeless guys I knew who sleep here quite often during the day. This fellow here, and there's another one, just on the other side of this pillar. Yeah, look at all that graffiti. Yeah, that whole alleyway is filled with it, and those walls. And I'm almost back at the Kojoy Hotel. It's just across the street on my right, but I decided to go for a walk around the park. Yeah, I noticed this family here with the two children. They're new. I haven't seen them in the park before. But all these people, they're regulars. I see them all here all the time. And that is the Kojoy Hotel behind me. This building on the right of the video, my left as I'm walking, at one point it was a kind of a coffee shop, a kopitiam. That's what it was when it was built, but I think it's been abandoned for years and years. I don't think it stayed in business for very long. That's some kind of a bank building, maybe Bangkok Bank, perhaps, something like that. And I've almost come to the end of my experimental 360 walk. Just coming back around to the front of the Kojoy. I'm going to walk past the front of the Kojoy, past the front doors, and then go around to the side door. Just so I can end the video with a view of the new Kojoy Hotel sign that they added to the side there. You get a lot of homeless people sleeping here or sitting here during the day. That's just one of them sitting there. This is the front door to the Kojoy. You can see they're adding more and more touches to the lobby, making it very nice. And there it is, the new Hotel Kojoy sign. And then on the right you can see a round sign stuck to the side of the building.